because first it was dietary. So, because I realized I had been drinking every day probably since 18. Like, not every day, but if it was 7 days in a week, then I would drink at least 5 days out of the week. You know what I'm saying? And at first, it just started hurting to the point where you know your body can't keep that up. You know what I'm saying? So I just decided, I was like, why do I even do that? And I was like, well, what if I stop that? And this guy that was living upstairs in my building, he was always talking to me about fasting and what it could do for you. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll decide to do that. And when I'm fasting, you know, that it made me think almost totally differently. So I started to study a lot of things. Like YouTube became my best friend, you know, as far as learning things. And all I would look up is, you know, different dietary things, like how my diet was so much different than it is now. You know, I stopped being a slave to my own cravings and things of that nature, but that was for more than just food, is what a fast made me realize. So at that point, that's kind of how this journey began. So it definitely started with the dietary.
I bet. Well, look, that sounds good. You know, it sounds like, you know, you're onto a new path. You're going to help some niggas out, get on their journey.
Look, that's exactly who I want to help out. You know, okay. A lot of times we need it the most. And first of all, in our culture and our society, mental health is something that is not, like, let's say if somebody says you go to the dentist. Okay, cool. When you coming back to work, like it's not a thought whether you're crazy or nothing like that. If you say, "Oh, where you going? I got a doctor's appointment, but I'm blah blah blah." Okay, cool. Now, as a black person, you tell another black person, "What are you doing?" I'm going to my therapist, and then I'm coming back to work. And he's like, "Oh, you crazy?" You know what I'm saying? Like, why I got to be all that? Like, to the point where if you're in a relationship, I notice some people